Welcome back, folks. That last game was an exciting one, but this one bound to be an exciting one as well. Wellington Jighere of Nigeria in first place here at the World Scrabble Championship. Thacha of Thailand in second place at this tournament. And Thacha, with a big enough victory here, may propel himself into first in the standings. A big matchup here, one both players would love to win. Wellington will have the advantage of playing first in this one. This is the first repeat matchup that we'll have on stream, but this tournament bound to get very intense as players with a second chance now to start playing other players near the top. Wellington, Cimmoeg. Not a superb rack. He will have a few five-letter words, Ogmic and Koji, Ogmic, Cogie, and Wellington in his patented style, dropping Ogmic down right away. It is the best play, and we agree at home Ogmic is the best move here for Wellington. So he's opened up 26 points, and Thacha, before he can even get his letters on his rack, on the clock. But he's pulled a blank, ADEMOW blank. He will certainly bingo here. Many options, including the wonderful word game through the G. Although I think his highest scoring option, tough to spot, using the M on the board, Mad Women for 73.
It was impressive how Wellington saw his best five-letter word, instantaneously. I think Thacha's just going to work through the different options here. I would probably take the points with Mad Women. I don't really like playing something like Meadowy at 9, opening up a huge number of floaters. I think I prefer Mad Women.
Yeah, any seven-letter bingo here playing above or below the O would give back big opportunities for Wellington to stack and pounce on 40 or 50 points or bingo through one of the floaters. So I'd be looking to play an 8 if I could in this situation. Mad Women, the highest scoring one, though there's also Word Game and Wood Meal.
Yeah, a bingo with a duplicated M is not necessarily where your brain goes first when you permute through looking for 8s. But he clearly sees a bunch of different bingos. He's just going to decide which one he thinks he likes best.
I think it'd be fun to see Add Women come down. The seven-letter word, of course, the M is a front hook to that one, but Add Man and Add Woman, a good set. Add Women would play with OD and cause a fun M hook. Both M's played, but one blank unseen.
We also have Meowed, which may happen when my cat comes back into this room.
Yeah, this is going to be a competition between James's cat and my dog, Colby. My dog made a couple appearances on stream already, and James's cat perhaps looking to share some of the limelight.
Fun fact, she's actually named after when we played a game, my wife and I played a game of Scrabble. Just before we went to get her from the ASPCA, my wife and I played Scrabble, maybe the last game we ever played together 15 years ago. And I think her rec was TULWA blank S, and she played Walnuts. So my cat's called Walnut as a result of that.
What a cute story. Sounds like you made that up just for stream, but yet I believe it to be true.
I'm not that creative, Matt.
Oh. Thacha, we've seen him take some time on bingo racks before. He wants to make sure he finds the best one and interact with many options like this. I agree. Take your time, take it easy, and find the best bingo.
I wonder if he sees any of the 8s and he just doesn't want to. He's close to Word Game right there. Yeah, he obviously realizes that it'd be easy just to put something down and move on, but he wants to not make a bad decision on this first move.
Yeah. What a wonderful play. Word Game. Oh, man. I've played Scrabble in Scrabble before. I have not played Word Game.
Well, isn't that in Thailand what it's called in Thailand? In the tournaments, it's called Word Game, or I think there's a
crossword game, I think.
Crossword game, yeah.
Somebody back me up on that. And in Thailand, this is just called a crossword game, right?
I think so.
Got some additional information on Thacha and the Thai scene in general over the break, as Jerry Carter generously reached out to share some stories. Thacha, he says, plays with the best players in the world. Jerry believes Thacha has the pedigree to be a world champion. He's practiced with many of the best players. He made it to the finals of the 2012 Kings Cup, before losing that to Helen Gibson, a strong player from Scotland, I believe. Panyupan won in 2003, Pakorn winning in 2009, and all of Thailand rooting for Thacha to win again in 2023. So notes of love from your countryman back home, Thacha, as he does take his time and finds his highest scoring bingo, Mad Women, for 73. And despite what appears to be a promising rack for Wellington, looks nice and balanced, ADEFHIR, there were no opportunities for an 8. No floaters at all would give Wellington a bingo in this situation. He's got to figure out how to play through this rack now. FAH is a wild play, HM being the other word he would make there, playing up next to that red triple word square. DEIR, an awesome leave, but we've seen Wellington be far more tactical and defensive. I don't think he shells out for equity here. I think he may keep things tight, trying to find ways for him to
play HAAF, keeping the same leave through the A. He's got half, however you say that word, half, HAAF.
Yeah, half an option. He could play Afraid through the A and Mad Woman for 28 points. FADE plays nicely to the right side of Mad Woman, scoring 29. HIR, a subpar leave. We may also see him get more aggressive and try to bingo GHI from the G. Also an option here, ADEFR, mediocre leave. Or if he wants to go and score as many points as possible, Chafed could come down from the C for 30.
Yeah, some of those are interesting. I think I like half keeping Ride. I don't think FARED is that great a bingo leave. Doesn't feel like it's going to obviously and immediately turn into a bingo. Whereas Ride is much more naturally a bingo leave. By the way, I mean, congrats to Thacha for taking the time there to find the best bingo. That's why he's at the top of the standings.
Yeah, ABENNOU, the pull for Thacha looks okay, but not great. So we'll see. This is a tough turn for Wellington. These turns drive you mad when you don't have a bingo, when you've got to make an intermediate play, when all of your leaves are good but not great, when you have so many options all within a few points of each other. And yet the great players are able to take these and figure out ways to set themselves up without setting their opponents up. Chief to be the move here for Wellington, CHIEF, 26 points, and ADR, a rather promising leave for him. He's not sold on this play, has not hit his clock yet, but now elects to. And Thacha now, ABENNOU, looks to respond to the play from Wellington. BOUN plays alongside Chief. That stands out to me as a good option, or perhaps BUNA to the right side of Mad Women. BOUN, 25 points, AEN, the leave. BUNA, 24 points, ENO, the leave.
I do quite like Buna down the side of Mad Women, but the danger with that is that it does take an A in front of it. So you have Abuna.
Yeah, that's rather dicey then. I did not know that, but in that with that knowledge, I'm not playing that. Perhaps BONA in that spot.
Yeah, BOUN I believe is a verb, so you can have booned to the D, BOUNED.
Yeah, or maybe Numena, NOUMENA, holding on to the B, but getting rid of a lot of these vowels. No, BOUN coming down. This is a word with two hooks. Obviously, the D. It also takes a back S, as James said. It is a verb. And Wellington now holding a D last turn. Man, almost like a spidey sense or something, as he's now going to be able to bingo reacted, created, serrated, or the highest scoring is Cedrate, CEDRATE for him. And Wellington likely not going to waste much time here before dropping the bingo with the big D hook on BOUN.
Well, he seemed created. I expect him to find said rate too, but well, there it looks like he's seen it. Yeah, I think Thacha was in a difficult position on that play, and almost everything he was going to play was going to open the board in some way he didn't really like, and he's going to get punished. Oh, I think he can. I think Thatcher's got a bingo, an 8-letter play himself on the next turn. A shape.
Yes, yeah, he'll have the shape through the O in Ogmic as well. So Wellington puts Cedray down, but instead opts to play tight. We've seen him play good defense all tournament and created no exception here. 88 points for the Nigerian. He's at 42 now. But Thacha, as James mentioned, has a shape to play back after this. That shape would be Pentagon, 62 points through the O in Ogmic. And Thacha's not going to miss this.
Yeah, that was interesting how Wellington did not like leaving that E in the bottom right corner. An E is a pretty easy letter to bingo too, and so he opted for some control there, which was interesting. And Thatcher's doing a great job of finding his bingo.
Great pull from Wellington, his post bingo draw, EILPRST, and he will score a good amount of points on this next turn. Triples and resplit, the words in that rack, and triples now going to pluralize Pentagon for 75. That'll be Wellington's only playable bingo. We may see him wait just a little bit to find nines through the N and the A or the T and the D, but they are not there. And I bet triples comes down 75 points for Wellington.
Yeah, we got some fireworks in this game. This is, right back at you, back and forth. And Thatcher's pull looks pretty good too.
Oh, wow. Yes, quite. Travels and varlets, a bunch of other bingos in that rack too. So, wow. Already 3 bingos on this board and about to be 2 more. We're just getting started in this game, folks.
Although I don't see where he can play them if the S spot is taken by Wellington.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, actually, after triples, no playable bingos for Thacha. That's
right.
Incredible. Wow.
Yeah, that's bad luck for Thacha.
Wow. On a board that had so much promise, all of a sudden, the defense of Wellington going to build a wall and stop Thacha from bingoing here. And in the absence of a bingo, this becomes a difficult decision.
Yeah, he's about 50 points back now, something like that. He has to score something. I don't think a very small play in the teens is going to get you anywhere. I think you have to be trying to score 20 points. Although I guess he's going to spend some time looking for potential bingos.
Yeah, you'd hate to miss one here with such a promising rack. But in the absence of a bingo, options very tough to spot. VELA or VALE to the right side of Mad Woman, score 26. PAV from the P looks promising, but you need to pick up an AE or I after one of those pulls. Exchanging a V seems absolutely wild. You've already got a rack full of bingos. Why would you fish for a bingo again next turn? I think you opt to play longer here. Maybe drop 3 tiles through the I and triples with a play like Vial, VIAL. I don't know what.
But wouldn't that start to kill the upper left of the board and go against what you need? For me, maybe something down the side of Mad Women, like Vera or Vela. I like RST, so I prefer Vela, VELA. Just goes in the 20s, doesn't it? I guess the best lead is probably REST, but I don't see a way of playing Lav anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, Lav would play VIAL through the I and triples or AVAL from the A and Mad Women, but both of those just 14 points.
Oh, there is the Val. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I see that too. Yeah, this is a tough turn. It looks like he is thinking about a Val.
Back hook to a Val, just an E, no S, just an E, but Thacha would hold on to an E and could help him bingo next turn.
Yeah, that would be an interesting play. I mean, that is a 7 lane, but the E has to be in a very. Oh, actually, no. It juts out far enough, doesn't it? So he has the whole lane there in that second to last column.
And a tough lane for Wellington to block is if he does, he's likely to give back plays along the triple for Thacha. AVALE takes both a back D and a back S. So plays likely to get hit back if Wellington chooses to address them. I don't think Wellington will be doing that, though. He's drawn a very interesting rack, SOUYYZ, and a Q. He'll have the option to play Yuzu alongside Pentagon for 53 points, but he's playing off 2 U's and retaining a Q. That's tough to do, but 57, I think, maybe too much to pass up on. We'll see. We got to see what Thacha does first and see what opportunities he opens up for Wellington.
Well, is he thinking of playing Vers for? I don't see where he's going to play that word. Well, these are the plays, though, Matt. I mean, I could give you my opinion. I would probably play Vela for 26 keep RST, but I think these are the kind of plays that really the expert players, they just find the better plays, get the board in the position they want to. These are the ones that separate players of good to excellent players.
I totally agree. And these are so hard to make. And sometimes, it depends on what you draw. If you play Vela and pick up 3 consonants and sit on 6 consonants next turn, you're kicking yourself thinking, I should have only played one of my vowels instead of both. But if you play AVAL and don't draw a bingo or hit a very low scoring bingo and continue getting outrun, then you kick yourself the other way. So it's tough, almost a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. Hindsight's always 20/20, of course, in this game, but you've just got to do your best and turn the odds in your favor here as much as you can. I am most partial to AVAL, but you could talk me into a number of plays on this turn.
Yeah, I didn't immediately see that play, but I really like it. I think it's, like you said, very hard to block. You have the E. You have a nice, well, not a nice, one of the best leaves you could possibly have in REST. Okay, you're not scoring that much, and you are still 40 points behind, but you're very likely to bingo.
Yeah, AVAL opens the board up nicely. I mean, again, this is an exceptional bingo rack, many opportunities to bingo, and nothing fits on this board. So you want to be thinking about drawing bingos again. Absolutely. There are many opportunities, many floaters on this board. Ooh, this is cute, but going to backfire hard as Soyuz now playable for Wellington. I like the thought, but unfortunately, not going to work out at all. Soyuz coming down. Nice way for Wellington to hold QU together too. Now he no longer has to make this Yuzu decision. Ouch. Tough break for the Thai man.
Yeah, that is one of so he wasn't thinking of playing Vers, he was thinking of playing LT, and Wellington's looking at his rack thinking, I'd love to just play Soyuz for a bunch of points, keeping QU. And then you see it and you're just like, wow, that's when you just feel everything's going my way.
Yeah, feels great. And Thacha not drawing a bingo either. FD after the play and his S hook knocked out. Thacha was in a bad situation against David Eldar too. I started doing random banter because I thought the game was done. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he stole the game away, winning by 5. So I'm not ready to count him out ever anymore. He'll have a nice VIFTA, VIFDA, through the I in triples if he chooses to do that and kind of break down this board. Otherwise, FID through the I in Ogmic holds a nice AERSV.
I mean, Wellington did just pull the other blank, so we could go into just random banter mode, Matt. But I think we could see this out for a few more turns and see what Thacha can do to come back here. That's a nice play.
Oh, that's a nice play. I like that. So set up some chaos on this board. That's what you got to do when disadvantage like this. Cute. I like it. Good thought. So ABIOQU blank now on Wellington's rack. He'll be able to unload this Q in a number of ways. QUOIT, playing down to the T in triples, QUAIL to the L in triples, or perhaps to whack a few more lines, QUIPO through the P in triples. All good options for him.
I mean, quoit, quail to the L, quoit to the T. It does leave the quoit does leave the O hanging next to the triple word score, but it does kill the R, which is one of the letters that and the T, which you think are the two letters most likely to bingo through. Most likely, I guess. I would be partial to quoit. You're not going to get hit. Particularly as the Z's gone. There is a J, so something like JA or JO could come back. So maybe that is a little risky.
I think I play Quippo here.
Yeah, that seems safer. Scores points, and you're achieving some of your aims.
And Wellington agrees. Quippo, 32 points, whack some lines out, and we'll see what happens next.
He disagrees.
Oh, no, now he disagrees. You're right, yeah. Sets up the J?
Well,
you can't have Thacha pegged on a J after
no.
BELT for 6 and then Vade.
No, exactly.
But he has drawn 4 new tiles. Perhaps it's there for him. Quoit instead the play, addressing the most lucrative bingo tiles in the T and the R. So Quoit comes down AADFORS, the rack for Thacha now. And he's running out of time, but not necessarily out of space. The Vade spot going to sit there until Wellington able to draw an E to address it.
It looks like Wellington hasn't 100% hit the clock and decided that this is what he's going with.
Has he 50% hit the clock, or
no, it's nothing above 0%.
So 0% hit the clock then for Wellington. Back to Quippo.
Okay, you were right, Matt.
I don't know. He still hasn't hit the clock. Now he has 100% hitting the clock for Wellington. Maybe doesn't like this S hook Quippo sets up, but I don't know. Yeah, the J opportunity, something he doesn't want to give up either here. He's going to shake that bag very well, try to draw an E, and be able to thwart this evade spot before Thacha able to hit it.
I think Thacha could cash in with some points here, hooking Kipo or Quippo with the S. But he's choosing
DOF going to come down. He'll sit on that S, the evade spot available, the Quippo spot available. He'll have options to score. Wellington can't block both at once, and he's going to grab 35 points as he waits to see if he picks something up. Arbiter and Rarebit, 2 7s on the rack using an E, but neither one slots the E where Wellington would like to play it. They won't play with evade, but still a good pull for him. Going to yield options elsewhere. Rarebit does play alongside Quippo for 79. He's also got the ability to play 8-letter words such as Brattier through the T in triples, Biretta through the T in belts, or through the T in triples as well. So Rarebit, I think for 79, going to be the play here. You got to grab those points, but maybe he looks to address lines instead. Won't be able to address the line in the top right side of the board, though.
Is Rarebit a word you would use in the States?
No. It's the only context I've ever seen it in is Scrabble.
Okay, so cheese on toast in England we call Welsh Rarebit, which is obviously not England, it's Welsh, but Welsh Rarebit. So that's what we use of cheese on toast.
I think that maybe the British food with the most flavor out there, cheese on toast. I've heard there's a toast sandwich in British cuisine. Have you had one of those before?
It's the best in the world, Matt. We could, if this game goes out of control, we could do a whole 10 minutes on it.
You heard it here, folks. Ask for it in the chat and you shall receive. James Curley discusses British cuisine. Is that what you'd like?
I actually had Welsh Rarebit for lunch, not going to lie.
And Wellington having Welsh Rarebit for a bingo here, 79 points to put him far ahead of Thacha, 387 to 230 after the bingo. Thacha has missed an E yet again, relieved to see that one hasn't come down, and also relieved to see that he's going to have a bingo that does exactly what he would like to do. Sanitary, playing through the T in triples, throws this board wide open, keeping things good and dynamic, exactly what Thacha needs to do. Also scores 63 points.
Yeah, this is hope. It looks he's shuffling. So yeah. Oh, here we go. That's a good find.
So 63 brings Thacha to 293 to Wellington's 387. No blanks for him to draw. I think still he'll need a big X play to the right side or left side of sanitary, and then a bingo draw in some order. If Wellington pulls the X here, this game is done. If Wellington pulls a J play here, this game is done. And there's the J. Will he get the vowel he needs? Yes, he will. Nice job, Thacha, fighting, but Jag, I think, going to be far too much for Wellington. Jig, perhaps a little better. We'll pull up the unseen pool so y'all can see what threats Wellington left to address. 11 vowels, 9 consonants, unseen.
Yeah, I mean, Jig, it's the first 3 letters of his last name. It seems the most natural play to make. I mean, it scores. I think there's 2 I's left, unseen to him, 1 A. So it says up there 3 I's and 2 A's, but I think one of each are on his rack.
Pull slightly off the X not displayed currently. There we go. We've updated it. But yes, the X threat one Wellington has to think about, but with that J play, easy. I think Jig comes down 2 I's, 1 A unseen to play off your I here.
This game really turned after the Boone turn, wasn't it? When Thacha played Boone and then just got hit with created, and then he tried his belt but got punished. So it was very, very small margins, and it just didn't go his way.
The beauty of Scrabble is it's a game where you will always have to take risks. If you try to play as conservatively as possible and never open a board, you end up foregoing so many points in the process that you'll still probably lose. You have to take risks sometimes, and sometimes they work out in your favor, and sometimes they blow up in your face. And that is exactly what happened here to Thacha, Boun. I think a good play in a vacuum, but a terrible play because Wellington, not just with the D, but with a massive bingo score in that spot. You can't know he has it. You can't play scared of him having it. But yeah, absolutely the pivotal turn in this game.
Thacha's got Vanu lined up. It fits really nicely between Rarebit and Pentagon. I mean, it's kind of irrelevant to the match, the game situation, but that's a very sweet fit.
That's wonderful. With the likely victory here, Wellington will be 2 games up on the entire field, knocking Thacha down to 17-5. Wellington will propel himself to 19-3, and depending on the outcome of Will Anderson and Canik, Will may be 2 games behind with Thacha or 3 games behind. So Jig the play. Thacha with few options out of this rack. Venue does fit nicely, as you said. There's actually an even nicer play in Weave between the A and the E in Rarebit and Pentagon. Scores 34 with those same letters. Venue only 29 in that spot.
Yeah, in Weave is a pretty common bingo, but you don't normally look for it with the disconnected A and E. I mean, I'm guessing that everything's at 0% win from here, but
that's got to be, yeah. Especially as Wellington has now drawn into that X as well. So all the scoring options have gone to Wellington after the sanitary bingo. All right, style play for the stream. Thank you, Thacha, for that. 30 or 29 points for Venue, but a nice little fit there. X going to score nicely for Wellington in the bottom right side of this board. Plays like AX and XU, 41 points, but perhaps you look to address the evade spot first if you're Wellington, just to make sure nothing terrible happens there. You're still going to win the game even if a bingo falls into that spot, but maybe we play Lex now and then wait, maybe potential to play through it with Alexia's if you pick up AI or something similar to that.
Yeah, with the unseen pool, it's basically you have to have a E in the 3rd spot of the word, right? So that's it's not easy to find something that's going to be an exact fit for that. Looking at the pool, Aranite. There are things, right? Aranite and uterine. So
Yeah, a few options.
Yeah.
But while I'm not going to write off Thacha anymore after that comeback, I think in this case, this one's done.
Yeah, and who's going to catch Wellington? It's going to be really interesting to see if anybody can keep up with him. But there's a lot of players coming up, only a few wins behind. So it's possible that he'll hit a mini slump at some point. But right now he's looking very, very good. He never looks phased either, does he? He's just very composed and calm and finds the right play.
Yeah, he's a machine.
Yeah.
And a machine that will progress to 19-3 in this tournament as well.
So we got 10 more rounds before we get down to the final 2 players. So it's a little bit of getting into a little bit of a sprint to the finish.
There comes a point in a tournament, and we certainly haven't hit there yet, but there comes a point where many players hope one person just blows everybody else out and runs like 4 or 5 games ahead of the field to give you a better shot at second rather than a bloodbath situation. We certainly haven't hit it yet, but if Wellington can win his last 2 games today, especially as repeat matchups have begun in this tournament, we may see that tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe mid-morning tomorrow. That might be the situation, but still a few games before we get to that point. I think you're right, Matt. I think he is thinking about that evade hook and feels like it's worth blocking. I also see Therian that could fit up there. Therian.
Oh, that would be big.
I found his play of Created very interesting, how he passed up the points for set rate and opted for more control. And, I know that this is something I again haven't played NWL in a long time, but there still is, even in Collins, with all of the words, there's still a big part of the game is board control and knowing how to shape it the way you want the board to be.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, Scrabble's still Scrabble. You have slightly different tools in your arsenal, but I mean, Nigel Richards able to win the championship with Collins, with NWL, and in French. It's the same principles no matter what you're playing. It's a math game. It's a space game. It's a board control game, or a rack balancing game, far more than it is just study the words and have the best vocabulary.
Maybe we should have a combined English-French dictionary. Let's see.
That would be so unfair in Nigel's advantage.
How many would he win by? Would he ever lose?
Would he ever lose? A great question. Probably not. 2 great matchups next round as Wellington to play against Harshan of England and Thacha now to face Will Anderson. Oh, man, I've got a decision to make. I'm going to look at the results and see if anything comes in. If Harshan wins, if Will wins, that's going to be interesting to make one of these matchups spicy.
Good point by Phil in the chat that the dictionary is already kind of English-French combined based on chambers with so many words of those origins. So that's a good point. It's all, Anglo-Saxon mixed with Norman French.
Am I supposed to do Canterbury Tales again? I did.
Oh, no, absolutely. I know. Open the door.
My 10th grade English teacher would be so proud, Mrs. Holmes, looking at you.
I did Pilgrim's Progress. That was the one that I remember. But I'm not about to burst out into anything.
Though it'd feel a lot more authentic with your accent than with mine.
I thought you were very good, Matt. Again, certainly not encouraging you to do it, but I thought you were very, very good.
Okay, James, I'll do no.
Anyway, isn't there an argument that some American accents are closer to the older English accents? But anyway, that's for another time.
Let's talk about British cuisine again. Tell me about your favorite kind of pudding.
Well, Yorkshire pudding, because I'm from Yorkshire.
Yeah, that was easy.
Yeah, but if it's for dessert, I like syrup sponge or spotted dick. I'm pretty 1970s in my tastes.
Chat is here for it, absolutely. AELS, a great lead for Wellington. 2 tiles in the bag now. He'll pick up a K and an H to score next turn and knock out any opportunity for Thacha to bingo with an E.
Interesting how he took so long on that turn, wasn't it? Most of us would just throw down an X play next to Sawyer's and score the points, but he really thought that one through and obviously realized that there were enough bad possibilities with the E in the third position that it was worth his time to block it.
Thacha now with the ability to extend that ALEXINE, or he can go one more time trying to pull a bingo here.
Well, 2 in the bag, and maybe where's he going to fit his bingo?
He is not. You could play HO, perhaps, and then get your lane blocked and then lose anyway.
Exactly. I'm trying. Well, to the T of belts. Maybe there are things, or through the T. Is there anything that can fit down the side of SJA? That's going to be hard.
And Wellington likely to block that spot anyway. I'd be looking, to the S and the JA, but also to the T. Is there something I can pull in both spots? Do I care enough to try to think this through? It's not going to decide the game. Alexine is a good amount of points. I might just score 42 now. And
yeah, I like that. I like playing Alexine and scoring and saving that little bit of spread. But this is an example of how Scrabble goes. The first what 4 or 5 turns we had bingos going down and it was fast and it wasn't although Thacha did take his time to find his best bingo, and then as the board got more congested and racks weren't as fruitful, it took more thinking.
And I think a lot of players, too, sort of turn on tilt, or when they get bingoed on the first turn with a blank, it's easy to get upset and easy to think, oh, man, this happens to me. But Wellington stays nice and calm, does what he needs to do, draws a couple bingos later on, and wins this game handily.
Yeah, I think players of this ability who can score this well, okay, my opponent drew a blank. It happens. I can find my way back into the game or, keep pace.
Nobody has texted me with their blank count yet this tournament. I wonder if people are feeling okay. Perhaps there's no cell service in the
Well,
play.
when you get texted with their E count, that's when you know things are going bad. If I've only drawn 2 E's in the last 2 games.
Such creative ways players find to complain about things.
I've got a little bit obsessed about my U count recently. He is going for the HO.
I've noticed TION bingos would actually play through that T. That may be a potential really sneaky thing to fish for, aeration or something similar to that. But alas, he's fished the O. He will pick up another O because that is how Scrabble goes.
That's a very classic Scrabble moment right there.
While he's got the line now, Wellington could address it, or Wellington could just score 56 points by playing HAKES on the left side of Sanitary. If you're Wellington looking at this pool, you have to assume probably the leave was Retina on that last turn. That's the only thing that makes a lot of sense to fish 1-0 out of. So, whether he pulled the O or the U unseen, he'll have bingos in that spot. Maybe you look to block the spot now and then hold on to HAKES later.
I think blocking does make more sense. Otherwise, it's just a kind of, he's going to block. He'll still score points elsewhere.
And he sets up his S as well. That's nice. He's going to think about it, make sure he's not missing anything, giving anything up, make sure there's no bingos he's missing on the left side of the board alongside Sanitary.
So HOH also takes an A as a back hook. So I think Thacha will be able to, if he feels like Wellington's going to score too well down there, he could play down there.
But Lakes is going to play to the left side of Sanitary as well.
Exactly.
Wellington giving himself 2 very high-scoring outplays.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nice play.
He'll look at it, make sure this is the best sequence for him, the right sequence for him. We saw Wellington yesterday play a blank on his second to last turn because he made the blank a U, but he held a U on his rack, and that U played for more points on the next turn. Very tactical, very calculating in his play. He'll make sure this is right and make sure, of course, he won't get bingoed out on as well.
Yeah, and he's going to draw one more tile, which I think is the U, looks like, with the unseen. So obviously he knows it's one of 8 different tiles. But I think that he knows he's got places to score in 2 places already with the tiles already on his rack, so he's happy with that.
Yeah, forgot he was going to draw another tile out of the bag, but that doesn't change the calculus all that much. Still a good play, still a good block, and Thacha not to bingo one more time here, though he will play Alexine this turn.
Yeah, a couple of nice style plays when the game is gone. So he's obviously still got his head in the game, still thinking. That's positive.
Quackle saying this is not the best endgame sequence for him. He had other sequences that are better by up to 6 points, which is wild. But Quackle wants him to play ORT somewhere first, block the big play to the left side of Sanitary, and then go out with Alexine.
That's quite instructive, actually. When you have these out in twos, which order do you play it in? It's instructive to think about that and realize that sometimes exactly as you just described with Wellington yesterday, just think about the exact sequence that you want to play the moves in.
Yeah, ORT and YO, actually the best play for him to make first there. Take away the LAKES play for Wellington. Wellington could block Alexine, but would have to make an enormous sacrifice to do so. And Thacha able to score enough points elsewhere to make up the difference.
So another 500-point game for Wellington, it looks like.
So casual, man, just ripping 500 game after 500 game. It's impressive. So impressive.
Well, to be going through this field with only 3 defeats after 22 games is incredible.
Absolutely. Unreal. But of course, Wellington's shown us immense talent before. Nobody is surprised. Will Anderson has defeated Nsekak in his previous game, so he will move up to 17-5. He'll match the record of Thacha, but move back up into second place as Thacha has significantly less spread. TOR, the outplay for Thacha, will put him at 389 to Wellington's 526. Wellington, very stoic in his victory, but we'll cut to the overhead mic just to see if we can catch something here. Absolutely nothing. Stoic in victory, stoic in defeat as well, Wellington. I'd love to hear what goes on, the thoughts going through his head, but
Well, he's a man who knows a lot of words, but doesn't necessarily choose to use them all the time, just when he needs to.
Yes. Not many words needed to win easily in this one. 526, 389, the final. This was round 22 of the World Scrabble Championship. We're going to cut away for a brief break. We will be back 2 more games today. Once again, Matt Canik, and this afternoon joined by James Curley. Appreciate your time, James. And we will be right back, y'all. And the chat, don't go anywhere.